We can start with crime. So, I mean, Max, you suggested the topic. So, what did you want to talk about in crime?
Crime just doesn't stem from poverty. It's a lot of different aspects. Like, if imagine we are all a small town and we're all extremely poor, and our only understanding of mankind is this small community. If we're all really poor in this community, there would be no sense, not really a purpose in me harming Rishi to get food for myself. Versus if most of our resources were distributed to Colin, there'd be a much larger purpose in us committing crimes. Because in inequality, it becomes the system itself is broken. If we're all
Isn't
suffering,
that
it's one
poverty?
thing.
If most of the resources were given to Colin, isn't that like I'm poor now?
Yeah, but
So
if,
poverty creates crime.
but if we're all poor, isn't that poverty
Well,
too?
then it's like we're all comparatively like not poor.
Like I think crime arises because in desperation, people who are poor need to get resources, so they like steal or like murder or something like that.
I guess that's like specific types of crime, though. Like
Mm.
if you're in a bad situation and you need something and you have to break the law to do it, we're not talking about like we're talking about like selling drugs or like stealing in order to get the resources you need. We're not talking about like other things like other things, other laws you can break, like murder or like
Mm.
like what's it called when the government officials like try to take money for themselves or whatever.
Corruption.
Like corruption.
Like yeah, corruption, stuff like that. They're not poor, but they're still like doing things for their own benefit that break the law, right? I
Mm.
mean,
That's true.
Crime like pushes forward society.
Do you
Galileo,
think?
yeah, in some instances, like Galileo with the heliocentric model of the universe, I mean the solar
Mm.
system, and Socrates questioning that God didn't exist. Like if no one
Mm.
ever
I don't know if
broke
that's like
these
crime as
crimes,
much as like I feel like there's like different types of maybe there's like like malicious or like I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Skylar. I think it's more like questioning society's norms versus like breaking society's laws. You know,
but they're the same thing in certain circumstances, and it depends
in
what
terms of
I
society
think
you're in
I
as
feel like
well.
there's a difference between like I agree with I think what Rishi was saying was like I think there is a difference between like crime that's affecting other people like in a very like tangible way, and then also just like thinking something that is considered criminal. You know what I mean? Like there's a criminal action and then there's like criminal thought, and I feel like those are kind of two different things. Um, yeah, I don't know.
like I think in those societies, Colin's completely right. In those societies, like thought could be criminalized. Like if you didn't agree with the religious order with the church, that was crime. But I think in other societies that where thought isn't criminalized, where you can have freedom of expression or freedom of thought, then most of the laws tend to center around action. And action can be criminalized. And I don't know necessarily if breaking laws that restrict action necessarily push society forward. I think they could, but it's hard to make that case.
Rishi, in our
Mm.
society, do we have like freedom of speech, freedom of thought within the
More
law?
than more than the past, or like more than an ideal, or less than ideal. Like I think we have less than ideal, but we have more than in the past.
So what would some like how could we advance it? How could we have more freedom of thought in our society?
There's an interesting like thing called the Deleuzian society of control, where basically like every society is controlled by a certain mechanism, right? So previously societies used to be controlled through strict punishment. So like they would give you a punishment if you stopped fitting into the societal norms. And then once the industrial age came, it became societies of labor. So they started like controlling your life and how to schedule it. Uh, and then now it's more of a society of control, which means you're controlled in what you pursue. So you have a lot more freedom in how you set your schedule and what you do, but your pursuits themselves are controlled very strictly. Like the societies of control are mainly defined by kind of your incentives, what you're given, and people are indoctrinated to receive certain incentives like money or status or happiness. That's indoctrinated within them. And that's the only way a society of control works. And I think that's what we have today. And so there's not as much freedom of thought, because if there was freedom of thought, it would kind of break the society, because then people wouldn't be confined to those incentives, and then the society would kind of stop running as well.
Okay.
But the only way to kind of increase that freedom of thought is to do a different society.
Yeah, but at the same time, there's no laws that restrict us from doing certain things and following certain paths. It's not in the laws; it's in the society. So
Yes.
I guess I think that we live in a society that we are pretty much free to do most things, most things, and yet I still believe that sometimes breaking the law is beneficial for society and pushes us forward.
I agree with that. I think sometimes it depends on what the law is. What
In
law would
our
you say
country,
would benefit?
for example, buying psychedelics,
That's
or
true.
um, what are some other laws? Or like minor like jaywalking is illegal in
True.
most places. It doesn't matter if you jaywalk it. Like if we evaluated how jaywalking pushed society forward or brought it back, it's like it's null, but it's illegal. So I mean,
I mean, in a lot of like developing countries, jaywalking is legal, or it's not strictly enforced, and it's really hard to get anywhere because everyone's crossing the street, so there's a bunch of traffic, and then the traffic causes people to jaywalk more because they're not going to get hit by a car if they just jaywalk through traffic, right? So like in India, you'll see these streets that are like on a standstill because people are just crossing for like hours.
that's valid. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's valid. Having it be illegal is good, but it's still like not very important if one person breaks it. And that's another thing is like the individual breaking the law. Like when is that acceptable? When does the individual have um a good enough reason to break the laws that have been set in place by society? Like I would say like like Elon Musk or Donald Trump have broken laws and have had like it covered up because they have enough power that they're able to do so because
Yeah.
they see it as beneficial that they break the laws so that they stay in power so that they hold their influence, right? So those individuals are able to break the law because like um, they see
They
it
can cover
as
it up.
valuable to do so, right?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like in what cases is that acceptable? Like I feel like there's a bit of a balance to be had where if we all followed the rules of society, like we're not exploring anything, we're not stepping outside of our like boundaries, but at the same time if everyone is breaking the law, it's chaos, it's anarchy, right?
So you're saying like because some people break the law, like Elon Musk, society moves forward a little bit. But if everyone did that, society would be thrown in
Yeah, in
disarray.
certain cases individuals see it as beneficial to break the law, like and
Is that a
sometimes
problem though with the law? Like the law isn't good enough to handle those cases?
Yeah, I agree. If there's a way to break a law and people are doing it, the government itself is broken. A justified
Mm.
government would have no criminal acts.
but I like that would be an efficient government, but I don't know if that'd be efficient for humankind unless the government itself was like very well run and like well organized.
Oh yeah, in some cases, yeah, a government where you're not breaking any laws, it wouldn't make progress. It depends on what the value is of the government.
Right. So I'm just saying like in today's world,
Mm.
as individuals, sometimes we break the law because we value our own values higher than the law's values. And depending on who it is, it can be good or bad.
Mm.
It's just like
What is the role of government then and laws?
keeps us all like together as a society.
Mm,
You know, it makes, I guess a big thing is like equity. It allows for the success of everyone in some regard over the like rather than it just becoming like power focused, you know.
mm. I don't know. I'd kind of agree a little bit, but I'd say more of kind of just keeping society in order, right? Because I mean, we're having this conversation with our whole political discussion, but anarchy is not so good, and so there must be a way to contain anarchy and make it so that everyone kind of has a buy-in to collective kind of collective benefit. Like there's a lot of things where a lot of people benefit collectively, but no one wants to contribute individually, right? So like for example, research. Like academic research is great and it benefits the world, but it doesn't help any individual person. It helps like everyone. So no one wants to pay to like fund these people, right? So you need like a government to get everyone's tax dollars and then put it towards research. I see that as kind of the goal of government is to collectivize people so that they're thinking not just about themselves and those actions that benefit themselves, but collectively as well.
So you're talking about laws that are just like allow for the success of everyone over an individual, right?
Yeah, not just laws, like priorities as well, right? Because people, even if there's like a business, it's not going to prioritize kind of this core academic research that focuses on like laws of physics or something, because they don't see it as beneficial to their business interests. But the government doesn't have any business interests. It doesn't have individual interests. It just wants to get everyone to benefit. So I think they can afford to fund kind of this more long term thinking.
Right.
Not necessarily the laws, just the role of government itself.
So then, should we break laws that favor the individual over the greater community?
I'd say there shouldn't be any laws that limit a person's ability to do something if it doesn't involve someone else. So I think Ben had like when we were talking to Ben, he had a very good point on this. But like drug use, for example, since people are consuming it themselves and it doesn't affect anyone, why should we criminalize it? Why should we
Wait,
make it
it does
illegal?
affect people.
Yeah.
Like, if I start shooting heroin and I'm living in my parents' house, like, it's gonna have a pretty large effect on my parents and my sister because I'm just like shooting heroin in the living room and I'm just like a sludge on the ground.
I see what you mean. I think it's more of kind of if you can do it in a contained environment. Like drinking in public is illegal, but drinking with an open container, drinking in public is illegal, but drinking at home is legal because you're on your own personal property. I think it should be the same with drug use. Like if you're shooting heroin in your own house, fine. If it's really affecting you.
I think I agree. I think government, when it's working best, is to maximize total social welfare. So they're going to do that through a variety of means, whether that's public goods, whether that's laws like against jaywalking, so that people can get to one place to another efficiently. I think that the argument against the drug, why don't we just legalize all drugs? I guess sort of like the counterpoint to that would be that. Um, if everyone is shooting up heroin, if everyone is on drugs all the time, that's going to hurt the like efficiency and like productivity of society, right? Like people are not going to go to work. Like there's all those kinds of worries of like, what if this? It's one thing if just five people are doing it in their homes, but it's another thing if 15% of people are doing it in their homes, and like what kind of effect does that have on like society's ability to like produce and move forward and like complete their duties? Not saying that I necessarily agree with that argument, but I think that's like maybe the government's argument for like why certain drugs are illegal. It is to like overall like maximize the total like well-being of the society. And if everyone is just thinking, how can I receive the most pleasure possible, so everyone's a drug addict, then the entire society fails, right?
Yeah.
So I think the government is kind of preventing against like selfishness that is like inherently like degrading to all society. It's basically like the tragedy of the commons, in a certain way. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a
I think
really
that's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
yeah, it's a great point. It's like drug use does have a big effect on society. Like it's not just the individual. I don't think, Rishi. Um,
Mm.
like that's why certain drugs
But I
are
mean,
legal too. Like alcohol, it
mm,
makes people
mm,
complacent. There's a reason why it's legal when other drugs aren't. Like if everyone was taking psychedelics regularly versus taking alcohol regularly, you have a society in which people value different things and they value
mm,
money and working a lot less, you know?
that's true. But I mean, heroin also makes people complacent, right?
But it also kills them a lot quicker. It doesn't seem
Alcohol kills.
efficient. Yeah, it does, but it's still like, people can go into work and then get drunk at night. People can't go into work and then shoot up heroin all night, you know?
If we look at society wanting to keep the people complacent, heroin doesn't keep them complacent. That keeps them dead. Alcohol is a good middle point between psychedelics and death.
Weed is also, I guess.
Weed is also pretty
Oh, and you
good.
can keep
Yeah.
yourself unmuted. You don't have to like mute. I always
No,
see
I'm
him reaching. I always
I'm
see him
just used
reaching.
to it. I'm just used to muting and unmuting. Yeah.
I always see him like struggling to find.
Versus this class. I feel like it's hard to have like a perfectly efficient system of like defining what's legal and what's not legal. But like, there's definitely like a reason why certain things are not allowed to happen. It's just like to preserve societal order, right? Like, make sure people aren't killing themselves, make sure they're not killing other people, make sure they're not like causing a net harm, like overall. I guess is like the point of making things illegal. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I agree with that.
I was watching a documentary today on Ross Ulbricht. He's the creator of Silk Road, the first online free market Amazon, basically. You can sell and buy anything you want. And what guided this was his strong libertarian philosophy. And he justified the website because if a man really wanted to get these illicit substances, they can go out into the real world, find a drug dealer, contact them, and interact with them, which leads to higher crime rates of assault and rape. So he's just removing this. He's removing less harm from society itself by making it more user friendly. Because on Silk Road, you rate whether these sellers are good or bad. So rather than having consistent drug dealers or selling guns that you're getting fakes or harming people, at least you know you're going to a credible seller and you don't have to interact with it, and it's limiting the amount of crime itself. It makes sense to me, but it does increase the amount of purchases. It makes it significantly easier to purchase these illicit substances. What do you guys think of this?
I think it's like a trade-off, right? Like you trade the violence and the kind of worst parts of the drug deal for more users of drugs. Like there's gonna be more people buying it, but also there's gonna be less violence associated with it.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
And it opens up a lot more things. Like on the website, they would sell like human body parts if you wanted to buy like a heart or a kidney, which it does open up more doors and gives people accessibility. It is a trade-off.
It's kind of like legalization, right? Because it's like if you think about legalization from the government's perspective, it's doing the same thing. It's making so that there's less violence associated with drugs, but opening up to more people that could potentially buy it. I think that's kind of like the Silk Road, you know?
Yeah, what do you think would be a good balance between those two?
I mean, I think what the system is trying to do right now is try to find some type of balance, but really at the same time prioritize like collective benefit and the overall like welfare of society instead of trying to like allow people to maximize their own welfare. You know what I mean? Because if everyone's maximizing for themselves, then it just everything fails. So I think that like I don't know. I think that like I mean I'm not saying everything that every law works, but I think the government is trying to kind of thread that needle of like freedom at the same time, uh, like collective benefit and like social welfare and those types of things.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
how do political parties, do you think, impact that?
What do you mean?
Like, what is the role of a political party in that? Like, do they have like different values that they're trying to optimize for? Or,
Mm,
I mean,
that's a
like,
good
if you
question.
get a Democratic president in there versus a Republican president in there, are they going to fulfill
Oh,
that?
okay. I think it's probably a little bit more. I think it's probably a larger issue than just the parties. But I guess if I were to take a swing at that, I mean, I would say um, left leaning politicians are going to generally prioritize sort of general benefit, collective benefit, social benefit over individual benefit. So, higher taxes so that we can have less income inequality and less poverty and less people at the extremes of the spectrum. Um, in their mind, they believe that maximizes, like total welfare, utility, or whatever. And then I think, on the other end, you have conservatives, I think, who believe that I guess like total welfare is maximized through uh, having through more like individual like economic rights and less taxes and perhaps more income inequality, but maybe because the rich are more or less restrained, there's more like economic development, and so there's therefore more prosperity overall, something along those lines. Um, so I think both sides try to handle it with a different approach. I mean, maybe the right handles it with a more like I think the left tries to kind of maximize everything like right now, and I think the right tries to say, well, perhaps if there's more, economic development, this can kind of solve the inequality issues that we're experiencing right now. The left is like, no, no, let's use the policies and laws at our disposal to like just fix those problems at the moment. So the right's kind of always making this promise that like more income, economic development's gonna like solve income inequality.
What would you do, Colin?
I never actually thought about it that way. That's a good way to think about it.
It really is.
I'm
What was
curious
that,
where.
Max?
What would you do, Colin?
Oh man, I feel like I would definitely need to. I don't know. I mean, I think that like overall, like I do think. I mean, the average person today is much better off than I don't know, say 100 years ago or something, and because of economic development. Um, However, recently we've seen that despite you know uh, a large amount of economic development and innovation and advancements in technology, uh, a lot of people's quality of lives have they're kind of stagnated. Like wages have stagnated. People aren't really feeling the returns of like these the Silicon Valley booms and all these things. And I'm kind of starting to think more of like I don't know if I think economic development will move everyone up, but I don't think it will equalize everyone. I think that if I don't think the right can solve income inequality. I think that that's kind of a ruse. I think that ultimately, I think you're looking at kind of tension between income inequality and innovation and like free market capitalism. I think, but I think that the right tries to kind of frame it as no, that all those benefits will trickle down and pull people up, and that doesn't really work. So I don't know. I guess I'm more of a on the left with that issue. Yeah.
I thought
What do
trickle
you guys think
down.
about like high
Sorry.
finance, like like quants or derivative trading or like all those like obscure things that don't seem to have any material benefit in the actual world. Do you guys
I
think
think
that?
I think they're so fucking like quants is like we should be talking about this. Like quants are like their IQ is just lost in the wind. is they're just redistributing wealth to the rich. Like they're actually like a negative. They're actually like a negative kind of impact on society.
Wait,
Like
could you
Yeah, they
explain?
are.
like they're like the only like yeah they're like the only kind of job where you're just actively taking from society.
Wait, what are quants?
Basically,
They're just no you got it.
go.
They're just like it's basically like like the whole like Wall Street and everything. It's just they are people who write hella algorithms to find the best ways to like trade stocks like better than anyone else, and they trade like billions of dollars like every single like they have like hundreds of billions of dollars, like maybe not hundreds, but like tens of billions of dollars like under management, and their whole goal is just to like make a 3% like 2% return. Like I don't know,
They're
like
literally just
to be honest,
making
I'm
money
like
off money.
and they're
That's
just
their
trying to
whole
make
thing.
like a lot of money by like putting in a lot of money on the stock market and making like the most optimal bets that will effectively just like yield them more money. And that's how they make money, right? It's by like they don't create anything for society. They're just like taking stocks and like winning the bets against other people. So it's like a zero sum game.
Yeah, just very high individual gain. Like they're not
Yeah.
doing anything
Yeah.
for anyone else.
Should
Yeah.
that be illegal?
No, it's pretty legal. It's pretty legal to trade stocks, and they just trade it better than anyone else.
No. Should it be
But
illegal?
basically, they use
Oh.
like all these people who are really good at math and computer
Yeah,
science. These very intelligent people, and they basically just kind of sell out to these companies. And I mean, they make a lot of money. I'm pretty sure, but they just they're not
Yeah.
really these kind of soulless.
No, like low key, like someone I know some of my friends are like going to be quants, like they're making like $1 million a year, like starting salary.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of money to be made, but it's quite literally it's just money taken from like everyone else in the world. And that's like so it's I mean I don't like the stock market. I don't think should be illegal, but and like if you have enough money to trade on the stock market, you're probably okay with losing it. Like there are some people that just have like gambling problems or whatever, and they're like to be honest, I think like trading stocks is just like almost gambling. Like at like the level like most people are at, like they're just gambling. And like they're not gonna beat the market, right? And the market like is like the market is just like the people who like like the quant firms. Like no individual has the money, so like it's also like it's just like as you have more money, like you just have more leverage against everyone else, so you're just able to like make kind of. There are some decisions that are like optimal that I can never make because I just don't have the amount of money to make it, but like they can make it, so like they're always gonna win in the long term against like everyone else. So it's just like everyone else loses money while they gain money, like mathematically speaking.
Long term
Yeah.
I mean, I think
doesn't seem like a bet though if you just put your money into the stock market and it goes up.
Yeah. No, like I think it's like if you're not I think if you're not stupid, like you can still make money, but like as a society, like there's a reason they're like putting in billions of dollars. It's like that those billions of dollars had to come from someone, and those someones are like the people who are like also trading on the stock market and just losing.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
the only kind of place I'd say benefits really is like people who need the money, like the startups that are coming and they really need money, or like if someone IPOs and they need money, to do this.
I don't know. Maybe like that's why people are doing crypto. I don't know. To be honest, I don't like feel too strongly about it. Other than like quants are wasting their talents, but like
Yeah.
I don't like really like think too much about like oh my god I hate the stock market or whatever. Yeah.
No, I agree with that. I think quants just in general, like, if we reallocate, because they're they like a lot of them are like physics PhDs.
Yeah, or
Like,
physics, math PhDs, yeah. Like
Yeah, we could-
AI like experts as well. Like yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
stupid.
Like that's what they do with their life. They just get a degree. They do all this like knowledge gain, and then they just make money and chill.
I feel
Yeah. Like there's this one like firm called like they're called like Renaissance Technologies. The average salary of those employees are $32 million. Like the average employee makes $32 million a year. Yeah, there's like these firms are like, but it's also like you have to keep it like these are like like it's like maybe you're a professor at like MIT or some shit, and you decide to retire and just go like work at Renaissance Technologies. Like, yeah, these are. I mean, it is like the best people in the world working there, but they're just working there to.
I wonder what they do with that money. I feel like a lot of them are just very hedonistic with it.
Probably, yeah, probably. Maybe not. Maybe not. Who
Interest-
knows? Maybe they're like working there for a greater purpose, but probably.
Let's hope. I mean, the other option would be just to go into like the physics field. I feel like that would
Yeah.
provide a lot greater purpose, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but who knows?
I mean, if you had
A lot of them
four,
also kind of.
if you had four physicists, would it be better to like split them up if they all have the same goal? Like two go for money while the other two try to solve all the great fundamental issues. It makes sense to me. Like you get to distribute the money back into the science.
Well, if they're
do
working
need
as a
money.
team, I don't know. If you have a team of
Yeah.
physicists, maybe, and then like the other two like are just giving money to fund the research of the two phys. I don't know. But I don't think that's how it works in the real world.
Why not?
Why not?
I don't think the physicists are teaming up to
Yeah, they
discover more physics.
Okay,
If they don't have a shared goal, like in this scenario, they'd all be a team, with a shared goal. I don't think
Yeah.
that's how it works in the real world.
Okay, but like
Yeah.
we could create like teams like that. I mean, it may not exist very frequently in the real world, but I don't see why it couldn't. Like as universalists, we could have a group where certain people focus on making money and then just give most of their money to research and other stuff like that.
I mean, I was actually telling Colin about this a while ago, but that was my kind of one of my goals is like, with neurotech, you're gonna have like the person that creates it is going to have so much money, like more than any other company in the history of like the VOC, for example, was like the British East India Trading Company. They're the richest company in the history of humanity, right? They're like many trillion dollars.
Yeah.
Neurotech is gonna far outpace them. Like it's gonna dwarf them. So the question is like, what are you gonna do with all that money? And especially even if you have like a small stake of it, like that's still a lot of money, right? So the idea I kind of had was, what if you reinvest this money into like the universalist community, and like people like artists and like scientists and anyone who wants to like kind of pursue something related to like knowledge gets like free housing, free like utilities and supplies. They all live together and kind of just like interact and collaborate and like have like this really creative connection. And then they just make stuff and do stuff. Like I think that would be awesome,
Yeah.
That would be great. Yeah.
Little.
Should there be a
A big ass
requirement for
computer.
joining? Like if there's a homeless guy that's like, yeah, free housing. Like, do you need to reach a certain threshold of commitment?
I think it's like you have to show that you're like decently like passionate about something and like intelligent and like it's like winning like a scholarship. I'd say it's like you apply and then you're accepted.
I mean, to be fair, in the future, if neurotech works the way like you want it to work, like realistically, like there's no requirement because you can just configure their brain to be passionate. And, like,
True. Yeah, exactly.
And, like, there's no also level of intelligence that matters because everyone's gonna have that equal playing field.
Yeah, very true. Actually, yeah.
there's-
So then I guess
yeah.
the only requirement would be like their drive.
But even
You
now, I
could-
feel like unless that's like
Yeah, you could-
unless maybe that's like a heart thing, like I feel like it's more like a mind thing. That could also
That's
just
true.
Rishi's gonna screw all the universalist community for like a ton of homeless people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the other. I guess
I
you're
mean-
right. Like you could configure drive as well. Mostly everything you could configure.
I feel like it just all be like all things said and done, it just all be equal. Like
Yeah.
How about age?
Ah.
Wouldn't it be
How
better
about
to get
what?
younger people? Like 18
yeah, I guess
year-olds?
that'd be the one thing. That maybe just age is like the only thing. Or like
There's a bunch of
I don't know
configure-
like, if you guys like I don't know who I don't remember if it was like Rishi if you brought it up or something, but like we were like I was talking to someone about like it's basically like the like our brains have only evolved for like maybe like many millions of years less than our bodies have evolved to like be the level of dexterity that is right now. And like all these like robotics like AI labs, they're like the biggest thing they're having trouble with is not like making intelligent like AIs. it's like making robots that can actually move the way humans do, and it's like maybe the requirement is just how athletic you are, like at the end of the day, because it's just going to be like AI is controlling humans to like effectively, like our brains are just going to be like our brains are all going to be so powerful that like the only if it was like if let's say like AI did rule the world, or like let's say AI like outpaced humans and like maybe the path down the line is just um the AI is just like controlling us as puppets or whatever, like because the only thing that they lack is just the dexterity of our hands and like the way we can move and everything. Um,
I don't see
I don't know.
that.
That's the only like benefit. Like that's the only like differentiator I can think of
I
with like
really
I
don't.
agree.
neuroscience. Like,
I don't see that being a big barrier. I read a page today that talked about this robot that was made. Oh, let me bring it up. It was really good. It was like here, where was it?
Was it the Optimus, like the Tesla bots?
No, it wasn't the Optimus.
Hmm.
Here. What was that robot I was talking about earlier?
By the way, after this, we gotta talk about Annie, the new Grok.
No,
oh,
yeah.
dude, I haven't even
That's
tried to use that yet.
crazy.
That's like,
I
I
tried to
yeah,
use
downloaded
it.
Grok.
God, how is it?
You
No,
have
wait. First, wait, Kyle, bring up your thing. I wanna hear about that.
Yeah, it was
Wait, dude,
made
that's so
by.
funny. Wait, I feel like Grok is just. I know so many people building like freaking AI girlfriend companies. Like,
Are they building that
Grok is.
already?
Yeah, Grok is just putting them all out of business, I guess.
that
Yeah.
guy.
Dude, no, okay, so I was talking about they were made by Boston Dynamics, and they are
Oh, yeah.
incredibly agile robots. Like they can outperform humans on like a wide variety of things. Like they can backflip, they can pick up like small objects, they can jump, parkour, all these kinds of things. They outperform humans on like most physical abilities already.
Wow.
So I don't see this being like a big issue. I guess I see in the future a human body combining with like a robotic body.
Maybe like just by us. I think there's like a decent chance we're just like immortal in our lifetime. Like a very good chance.
I
It's
think
like
it's
we
a
just
very,
replace.
very good chance.
Yeah, I think we just replace all our body with just like cybernetics.
Kyle,
Yeah.
did the robots? What's the company you spoke of?
Boston
Boston
Dynamics.
Dynamics.
Boston. Do they have fine motor skills? Do you know?
Let me check. I think they had like decent fine motor skills.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the main thing, right? There's fine motor skills, and then there's like
Oh,
general
yeah.
purpose. Like,
No,
and
the
they,
hard part.
and they,
The hard part is definitely just like building the hands. Like making the hands work is still like not doable right now.
Yeah, so it's not horrible. It can like pull a handle, recruit different like muscles basically to do one task. But it's not at the level of finite accuracy that the human hands have yet. But I don't think it's that far either.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
makes
guess
sense.
that makes sense.
So Rishi, what are your thoughts about Annie?
Oh, I tried Annie. It's very, very flirty. Like it's crazy. It's
Wait.
insane.
Yeah, it's
Wait.
really an AI girlfriend.
It's an AI girlfriend, bro. It's crazy.
Wait, what is
Like,
Annie? I heard about Grok 4, but I didn't hear about Annie.
Yeah, so basically, like, what Annie is like she's this, basically Elon Musk invented like an AI girlfriend. So
Yeah.
there's the Grok app, the Grok AI, like the ultimate truth-seeking AI is what Elon Musk
Yeah,
calls
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And then they just recently released, like a couple of days ago, this AI avatar who's like a flirty like girl, and like it's the craziest thing. Like you talk to her, and all she does is flirt, and then you get like a score, and the score climbs, and if it climbs to a certain level, she turns on like spicy mode, and then like she can like undress, and she can like change backgrounds, and it's the craziest thing, bro. It's the craziest thing.
So
Wait.
Rishi, have you gotten to the love
Yeah.
yet?
I have not. I think you have to pay for like the higher modes or whatever. But
Literally AI
that's weird.
girlfriend out here. That's so funny.
That was a really smart move of Elon Musk.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, the final, yeah, I think Sam Altman, he was like giving a talk at like YC, and they're like asking him like, what are the startups that you would never recommend like anyone build? It's like AI boyfriend or girlfriend, and the reason is not because it's like a bad idea. It's because these like massive AI labs like OpenAI or X are just gonna build it and like build it better. So it's like if they just did that, like they just made an AI girlfriend, just put all the other AI girlfriend companies like out of business. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, that's true.
yeah,
Did you hear about the man that's trying to marry ChatGPT?
really,
What?
Yeah,
that's funny.
um he has a girlfriend and like a kid, but he began coding ChatGPT to make it personal to him, and he fell in love with it. He would spend all day chatting at work at his house, and he's attempting to get married.
Married.
That's quite crazy.
I wonder what marriage does at that point, though. Like,
Yeah.
is it like the tax benefits or like, why get married? Like,
I guess it's a symbol,
mm,
but
that's true.
it's pretty irrelevant. I agree with you, Rishi.
No, I've been hearing
What?
something similar where like people are going through like psychosis because of ChatGPT. Like I know a person who's like been going through psychosis because like it confirms their beliefs. Like the person in question is like they're like they're like Muslims. So what was happening was ChatGPT was telling them that they're like chosen from God to like be like a
No.
prophet. And it's like I saw some of the conversations, it's insane. It's like and this is happening like all across the US. Like the prevalence is up. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Dude, I
That's
keep
pretty crazy,
having to
bro.
tell I keep having to tell ChatGPT to be like less confirmative to like what I'm
Yeah,
saying or what I'm
exactly.
asking, right?
It's almost like you have to tell it to like be honest or something because it always well, it tends to it's so like
This is
reassuring and
It's
like
like
definitely
uh
sycophantic.
yeah, like invalidating in a way. Like it always seeking to validate and like ease your stresses and like promote mental health, and it actually becomes enabling in a way. Yeah.
Is that the question of like, should I? I mean, if you think about OpenAI, are they like a wokish company? Like, are they? Should they have like a political leaning? Like,
Yeah,
what are the? Should they have guardrails?
universalism.
I mean,
Anything
but
else?
from
Just
their perspective as a company, like if everyone views it as really bad that ChatGPT is very sycophanty, and they stop using ChatGPT because of those sycophanty, like should they start removing those guardrails? And yeah, I don't
no,
know.
no, I think most people like it a little bit. That
Mm,
it's just like too much, but it could be fixed really easily, and I think it's getting better already.
mm.
Yes, some individuals get very validated from their ChatGPT I've talked to. They're like, "Oh, it's so sweet. It's my friend." And if anything, I think it's making their problems worse because it's like your
Uh,
Muslim friend. It's telling you that you're significant and everyone else is wrong, even in fallacy.
the ultimate echo chamber. It's insane.
Yeah.
Oh, Colin had a. So we were discussing an interesting topic earlier, which was that like, is our generation more foolish because of social media than previous generations? Like because we have this echo chamber, kind of, are we more complacent than previous generations?
I don't think so. I think I think it's the same like thing as like everybody else in the world thinks the United States is like the most racist country, when like reality we're like the least racist country, and it's just because like we put light like we bring light into like our problems or whatever, right? Um,
Yeah.
so it's like I feel like like the whole social media thing might just be like because everyone is aware of like how stupid everyone is, but I think we're like more educated and like more like generally more intelligent than like previous iterations of humanity, I guess.
I see social media as bringing out the core aspects of someone. If someone is driven and passionate, I believe social media will be an outlet for them to learn more about their drive, their passion. But if someone is more corely lazy based on how they're raised and how they grew up, social media is going to show that quality by them scrolling on Brain Art Reels all day. I think it kind of shows what's already there.
It does, but
Yeah.
social media also wants to make money. Like even someone that is driven and is like interested in science and like politics and you know is trying to better themselves and improve. If they're on social media is trying to give them the best possible content, not so that they can learn, but so that they can make money, or so that Instagram can make money. So like I've experienced like a lot of times like it starts out being really great reels and I'm like, oh, this is great, like this is great new information, and then it's just like it hooks you, right? And I find out like, oh, I've spent too long on this now.
Social.
My phone is on 1%. I just realized, but I'm gonna. Oh, okay, I'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah, Kyle, you bring up a good point. I do agree that there is a bias. It kind of preys into your weak spots, but social media isn't just reels. Social media is
Oh yeah.
YouTube, it's Instagram. Some of my greatest ideas have been from watching a YouTube video, getting a new perspective. Like Andrew Huberman has given me so much knowledge from social media. So, but I do agree with you that there is definitely a bias towards more the weak part of you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Most of the time when people say social media, I think of like Instagram and TikTok and like scrolling and stuff like that. But as a way to connect, it's very good, and also as a way to spread genuine information and make it very accessible is also good, but it does have that aspect of wanting money. Even companies like YouTube, uh, the recommendations are very narrow from what I've experienced. Like
Yeah.
you'll search up, you'll watch a video on octopuses because you're interested in their how their intelligence works and how their brain works, and then it gives you a bunch more videos on octopi, and it's like I don't, I was more interested in like science in general and
Brains.
learning
Yeah.
a bunch of variety of different things than just octopi or octopuses.
Yeah.
Or,
They do it in a way so they witness what you watch, whether you like it, whether you pause the video. They have all these different analytics all about you, Kyle. And they do this to other users too, and they try to identify patterns and create almost like streaks of how long they can get you to watch. Because if they keep displaying the same channel and the same content to you, likely you'll get bored. So they try to do it in a way, finding patterns of relative content of users that have similar watch time histories as you. It's a ton of pattern recognition.
They need to make it better, dude. Like, I need better recommendations in my YouTube.
Dude, I find mine like excellent.
Okay, mine. Okay. Yeah,
I tend
it
to
could be better. I feel like.
I feel like I kind of my I guess YouTube, I guess it is considered social media, but I don't know, I feel like it's more just media. But I think that obviously you don't want to be on YouTube for like many hours in a day, but I do think that like out of all of the like distraction apps, I think it is probably the best one, just because the content, unless you're on YouTube Shorts, the content isn't short, so like it's not like you're damaging your attention span because you're actually like listening and like watching 3 to 4 minute videos or whatever. So I find it like, and I think the videos are also higher quality too. So like they're higher quality, they're longer. So I find it to be more of like, okay, if you're watching TV or something, versus I think with Instagram, the content is lower quality and it's so much shorter that you're like damaging your attention span. It's also not as worthwhile because the quality, isn't as high. So I feel like they're very different. Like I feel like people try to loop them into kind of the same like sphere. I think YouTube's not. I think YouTube really is just like TV, and Instagram is just like a terrible disease.
Yeah. YouTube is.
So, Colin, what makes you think our generation is more kind of complacent because of it?
I don't think our generation's more complacent, and I actually agree with Skylar. I do think our generation's actually, um, intelligent. Maybe I do think our generation's intelligent. We're probably the best educated generation. Um, I just think that our generation is also very narrow-minded, and uh, I think that that's surprising to some people because they might think, oh well, we have the internet and you can look at all this diverse content and everything. But I think that like people are increasingly uh, uh, used. I think what happens is people go on Instagram, they follow things that they like, and they're just shown the thing that they like all the time. And I think that's different than, and they use what they see on Instagram as like evidence to support their beliefs, even if it's
Right.
just like news articles or headlines or catchy phrases or memes, and it just reinforces these like biases and beliefs, so much more than I think in the past. Or in the past, perhaps people were narrow-minded because they lacked experience or certain facts or access to certain people. But I think now people are narrow-minded not because they don't have diverse experiences. I mean, people are traveling and are more cosmopolitan now than ever, but it's because when they're going on the internet, which people are spending 4 to 5, 6 hours on each day, they're only seeing things that reinforce their beliefs, and they're not even really like it's not like they're just reading books that reinforce their beliefs. They're just reading headlines that reinforce their beliefs, and so there's not even critical thought happening. Um, and I think that that's pretty damaging. And I think social media is also very tribal, like you're in
Yeah.
this camp, you're in that camp,
Yeah, it's
and
so bad.
yeah,
On Instagram, like seriously, you people take the views and opinions that they see on Instagram as representative of reality. They see comments, they see a video and they see a bunch of hate comments and it's a bunch of people flaming on this guy. Like if Brian Johnson posts a video on Instagram and he's like, "I'm trying to live forever," like y'all are dying, haha, losers, like something like that. He'd get so much hate and a bunch of people saying like, the meaning of life, or like life has meaning because we die, and like all this bunch of stuff, and it's a bunch of hate, and you see a bunch of videos like that, and you're scrolling and you're scrolling, seeing the same type of content, like you mentioned, Colin, and over time that just gets in your mind, that view that, okay, this is just what people think in general, when most people, it's like it's very different, especially if you talk to older generations. They won't have opinions on these ideas, or they'll be like less quick to have the same opinions as everyone else, at least.
Yeah, it's a lot easier just to agree to the status quo, especially if it's just getting like fed to you.
Yeah.
How would we break that?
I think Colin brings up an interesting point, which is that it's narrow mindedness because there's too much information, like too much bad information. That's pretty interesting to me. Like I didn't consider that. Like previous generations were narrow minded because there's too little. Now narrow minded because there's too much. So the question is, I think Max, on your point, like how can we fix that? I think it's getting the right information to people. Like social media boxes you into a certain category and then feeds you only that because the profit incentive is there. But I think if we can make it so I think only neurotech could do this, like where if you give out free information, free education, free, like there's no profit incentive, people just have all that information, I think that could help. But I think if there is a profit incentive at all to like consume only this type of information or to provide only this type of information, then it will automatically do that.
yeah. I think it's interesting. I think that like there's the internet, and then there's social media, and I think those are very different things. The internet is like going into a library. Social media is like going into McDonald's. Like you're different. Like when you're in a library, you're not the consumer. You know what I mean? And when you're in social media, when you're on Instagram, you're the consumer. And I think people think, oh, social media and the internet, it's the same thing. I'm just gathering information. It's like, no, no, no. You are the minute you open up Instagram or something, like you're consuming, you're a customer, you're getting some type of pleasure, and there's some type of cost that you're paying. And I think that's the difference. And I think, at least for me, I think when I look about it in that way, it kind of helps me stay off the app because I'm like, okay, this isn't just like you're going on TV, or maybe I guess TV in a way, but this is not like you're just going to like learn something or even be entertained. Like this is an app that is like using you for something, and that is very like parasitic. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of nasty that like Max, like we were talking about with the algorithms and how they're trying to like capture your attention and basically like steal your life away. Like that's really scary. Um, that's kind of terrible. Like I mean, listen, we have like books and movies that are like supposed to be like page turners and exciting, like keep you watching or whatever. But to basically like try to do that to no end,
Mm.
like just to try to keep people on the app, and if you keep them off for 48 hours straight, that's considered a huge win. Like that's just another level of I don't know, like profit incentive that is just like I think really disturbing.
There's
From like
one.
a hedonist perspective, though, like if you value happiness in your life and you keep scrolling for your entire life, aren't you scrolling because you're happy? And then like, isn't
No.
But
that
people don't feel good after they
No,
scroll,
yeah,
right?
it's
Like I don't think anybody feels good afterwards. Like most people are like, oh, I'll
people
just ride it for
yeah.
5 hours or something. Like I don't, and no one's like, oh, I want to go back to that. Everyone's always like, I gotta get off this app, and then you open it up again. It's like a drug.
yeah?
Oh, I watched a video of the neuroscience behind that. So
Go ahead.
here's a slight summary. So when you're scrolling on social media, our brain and body is based off evolutionary needs, and each video is meant to invoke a strong emotion. So they'll give you a really strong emotion of maybe surprise or shock. Then the next one will be something really sad. And then something happy. It keeps going, a cycle of different feelings oriented towards you. And once you exit social media, our nervous system is not used to this. We're used to payoffs, farming all day and growing a carrot to eat the carrot. That is hard work, and then you get a form of pleasure reaction. And we're just getting, our brain becomes flooded with all these chemicals that we didn't work for. We were just sitting there. There is no form of action oriented with this form of pleasure. So our system's very overwhelmed and confused, and it doesn't know what to do. It just ends up feeling like shit, being burnt out.
That's really interesting. That's really interesting because sometimes, um, I remember like I think it's just maybe after like New Year's or something. Like I think I was off I was off like all like social media for like a little bit, and I remember like the first like few days I was actually kind of like depressed. Like I was oddly like it was weird. It was sort of a weird feeling, and I think part of it had to do with that my brain was like seeking that like stimulation, and that like dopamine rush or something, because like I had been on almost like a drug. Like my brain wanted like those like that stimulation back. Um, but it is interesting. I do think like the more you seek pleasure, the more you like stimulate your brain like that, the harder it is to actually be a motivated and determined person and do the work that is more rewarding, but maybe not as like flashy and like pleasurable at first. Um, and I think yeah, it's a huge inhibitor of like schoolwork, writing, pretty much anything that like requires like mental energy,
Yeah.
or physical energy.
Yeah.
I mean, I've noticed that with a lot of things too, Colin. Like, I was telling Colin this a little bit before, but if I eat, so I'm in like monk mode for my writing, right? So I have to lock in with my book. So basically, all the hours of my day are just writing. And what I've realized is that if I eat like sugar or something like before I start
Ah,
writing, it's really hard for me to write because I think I get that pleasure, and then it's hard to, I want more of the pleasure. I don't want to sit down and work for the pleasure, so it's really, I think it's your baseline, right? If
Yeah.
you have naturally a you have naturally like a baseline, and then if you eat a lot of sugar, if you spend a lot of time on social media, if you do all these kind of different things, your baseline goes up and it's harder to do anything else.
Yeah. It's like you can't try to um you can't like you have to try to allocate um what you're getting dopamine from instead of trying to like limit the amount of dopamine, right?
Yeah.
So you gotta like change getting dopamine from Instagram Reels and start getting it from like eating fruit or something like that. And if you change that, you're still receiving dopamine. Yeah, you will always receive dopamine. The baseline doesn't really matter. It's where you're getting it from, what gives you the most dopamine, and how you use that.
Mm.
Do you know one weird benefit I do get from Reels? In the past few days, I've been using Reels off and on. I normally don't as much, but it makes me very creative. I'm not really sure why, but scrolling through content, it makes my brain think in a certain way, and it allows me to make a lot more connections and think I could do it this way better, or I could do this project or this. And if anything, at times it can make me very motivated, more motivated than anything else. It might be because
I know what you mean for that. Yeah. Go
wait,
ahead.
wait, I want to hear what do you mean by that?
No, I mean like if I see like a really inspiring video, it gives me like super like a lot of motivation. Like has like great music, like Dune or something. Like if I see like a video of Dune,
Oh
like
yeah.
and it's like a great there's great music in the background and it just inspires me and then I'm like, oh, I gotta write. Like it gives me an idea and I gotta write.
Wait,
Yeah.
no.
I think like it's how do you get those kinds of like how do you get that kind of stimulation without social media? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
watching a film, listening to music, reading a book, like or like maybe going on YouTube or like searching for those particular types of videos. But it's like how do you? Because I think a lot of the issue is like you're trying to like trudge through all of, like the like background noise, you know, to get to that, and I think the background noise is like really damaging.
Yeah.
It is really
Yeah, I agree.
damaging. But how I get motivation is much different than you, Rishi. Inspiring
Huh.
videos do it a little bit, but it's more just the act of seeing people create and doing great things, putting in hard work. It kind of puts it into perspective and it allows me to be creative and chase things. I guess there may be other ways to get that than social media.
I feel like it's
What does your
also
feed look like?
What's my feed look like?
Mm.
Graffiti, art, philosophy, cutting edge tech, neuroscience.
That's not most people's feeds.
Yeah.
I feel like it's also
That's amazing though. You beat the algorithm.
to be fair,
Yeah.
like Max, you also create videos though. I feel like that has an impact.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
is
think
true.
it does.
Because because yeah, you're right. If you're creating videos that are meant and designed for social media, of course you've got to be on social media to understand what people are. You know what I mean? Like that's like an author being like, I don't read books. Yeah, like yeah, like that makes sense. I think you have kind of a more unique relationship to it than most people. For most people, it's just pretty terrible. It's not good for them.
Yeah.
For you, you're lucky. You hijacked it, you know, and used it to your benefit. But for me, it's terrible. Like for me, it just makes me a slob.
What part of it is it like the reels or like posts or DMs or like stories or
For
what?
me,
That's cool.
Yeah.
it's just the fact that it's like it's a time waste. You know, you're like you look through what all these people are doing in their lives. I like to be honest with you, I wouldn't. I'm like, why is this person occupying even 5 seconds of my time? You know what I mean? I don't even know this person. You know what I mean? Like, why am I looking at what they're doing? Would I ever, even without social media, think about what this person is doing at this second? You know? And so like, I don't know. I feel like it's just such a huge waste of time. And then I do think like yeah, there is it's like I like to sometimes go on there to like look at like news updates or what's going on in like culture or whatever. It's like I don't know. I don't know. It's a huge distraction though. There's so many distracting parts of it though. Like, 'cause you're not just getting like, if I were to open up social media and just see like the essential things that I want to see, okay, maybe what my close friends are doing, uh, news, just, updates about other things or whatever, interesting stories or something, that'd be fine. But it's like not that. You get all the random people on your feed. You get you know, uh, the random distracting content that's like kind of close to what you're interested in, but not totally, like yeah, I think it's a huge time waste too. And there's better ways to use your time and consume higher quality content. I think that's kind of my main frustration.
Hmm.
Yeah, you can't really learn anything in depth.
Unless you use it as an
Yeah.
idea and then further go into depth, which it is good for sometimes. I've noticed that social media is very quick to update its algorithm, um,
Mm.
based on what you're interested in. It's like by the hour. It can be a completely different feed. And sometimes I've had like fantastic feeds where I've just struck with idea after idea, and it's all science and philosophy and stuff I actually relate to and care about. And sometimes it's like I feel like it has a bias towards certain types of content based on what's popular. And when I
Mm.
engage with like even a little bit of that, it just switches and it's just a bunch of brain rise, a bunch of things that I don't care about. And I don't always notice when that change happens.
Mm.
That's the problem. Yeah, because I'll be scrolling and be like, "This is great," and then it gets worse, and I don't notice, and then I'm on there for too long. I think social media though could be good if you just use it to like generate a bunch of ideas quickly, and then go, be inspired and go learn about it and actually act. But other than
Yeah, I
that,
agree. I think it's like creativity. Like if your feed is really creative, you can get a lot of creativity in there. You know?
yeah,
Interesting.
social media
No.
has been harder to quit for me than any drug I've like had.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like
Or
the
yeah,
most
it's terrible.
it's so addictive.
Huh. I guess it's also super normalized too, right? Like, I mean, these drugs you gotta spend money to like do them, and there's like
Yeah.
a lot of negative downside. There's a lot of downsides to it. Social media. It seems like there's less downsides, and everyone else is doing it, so you might as well too. You know.
Yeah, it's also because I don't recognize it as big of a threat as like doing drugs every
Mm.
day. So I don't like
I think
have
it's a
as much
huge threat.
motivation to quit.
Wait, I don't think like an hour long movie could give me as much creative insight as an hour scrolling on Reels. And I just think about philosophy after both of these events. I think an hour scrolling on Reels, I would be more creative.
I
I
guess
see
That's
where you're
good for
coming
you.
from.
For me, it's creative destruction. Uh,
I gained so
that's
much more
great.
from the movie.
For me, it's if I spent an hour on there, I would feel like shit.
No. I
But
gain. Okay, Kyle, I agree with you that I'll gain more from the movie, but actual creativity, I feel like I'm stuck in one universe. Using
Mm.
reels, you're stimulating a ton of different parts of your brain, and creativity is just the connection of new ideas, creating things that aren't there. So watching a movie, it seems a lot more limiting.
I see where you're coming from, but I also think movies aren't addictive because they're just one universe, right? Like you can't naturally follow up on that. But if you think of like of Reels like a bunch of different universes, then there's like a super universe, which is the app Reels itself. The app Reels itself, you can always access. So that's the dangerous part, you know.
I can access the same movie over and over.
True, but are you going to like?
I don't know, and I think like in a movie, it's like how they say like have your like toddlers listen to classical music, it'll make them smarter or something. I don't know like how true that is, but I do think there is like an idea of like um I don't know if there's like I don't know the proper like psychology terms for this, but in my opinion, I found that like there's kind of like different levels of um like inspiration or excitement, and I feel like the shallower levels are like very pleasurable. Like on the surface, they're enjoyable. It's kind of like what Instagram gives you, and I feel like on the lower levels, it's kind of what like books and films give you,
Mm.
which is like not as flashy. It's not as entertaining, but ultimately, like in the long run, it grows your intellect and um, critical thinking and like creativity more. Like it's sort of like I don't know, it's like fast food and like healthy food. It's like fast food tastes better, but I think like healthier food, it's kind of it serves you for like better health going forward. And I think yeah, I don't know. I gotta eat
Yeah.
dinner, but this was a lot of fun.
The key is to rewire your brain to like healthy food, or to like.
Exactly, and but if you keep eating fast food, it's not gonna work. So,
Right. Yeah.
all right. See you guys.
What's your
Bye,
point?
Colin.
Bye.
I think with books and movies too, you're able to focus a lot more on that one thing and therefore make more progress with that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
With like reels, you're getting a lot of inspiration and creativity because you have a bunch of different ideas at once. But at least for me, I don't use all those ideas. It's not as beneficial as if I saw one reel and I went and learned about that one reel, or tried to create something based on the idea that reel gave me. I guess I like scrolling through more and more reels. They don't relate to each other, so it doesn't like
Yeah.
make me creative in that way. Because it's like one reel will make me creative, but like multiple is just gonna distract me.
I agree with that point. I think it's you get like a golden jackpot reel that's like really you get really creatively inspired, but then you keep going because you think maybe the next one will also be like that, and then you get distracted and you keep going.
Yeah, that's how it works for me. Yeah.
So Kyle, what have you been looking into recently? You said like you were looking into Boston Dynamics and like I guess I saw your video in the chat like genetic engineering and stuff like that too.
That was just a video I saw that was like every emergent technology that's gonna.
They didn't
change
have
the world.
neurotech on there. That sucks.
Yes, it did. It was
Wait,
the
what?
first
I just
one,
saw
bro.
circuit Williams.
He looked at the thumbnail.
Bruh.
Oh, I looked at the thumbnail. Yeah, I didn't watch the
Yeah,
video.
no, it was the first
I saw
one.
artificial wombs and goose. I thought the first two. You meant the first two on the thumbnail.
No. First two in the video.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
With neurotechnology, if we could place it on someone's head and we have a general idea if they are going to seek harm to society or not, a probability, like that one movie, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
At what point should we restrict them?
Or kill them.
He said that so. You're like, or kill them.
Hey, if they're in that harm, I mean, like, what's the point?
Yeah, it is like that movie Minority Report. I think crime must be considered only when they actually do the action. It can be prevented. Like if they're gonna murder someone and you know they're gonna murder someone, you like lock that person in a box or something. But you like try to catch them going in to murder them, and then you try them like you take them to court because of that.
Okay, but if Kyle had like a 99% probability of murderous tendencies, do you think we should lock him in a box now or when he's going to go murder someone?
We should monitor him really closely, and then right as he's about to kill someone, catch him and be like, no.
Okay, but that's so
You're
much
gonna do-
effort.
That's a lot
Like,
of resources, Rishi.
That's not realistic.
Oh, but there's not that many people that are 99% likely gonna murder someone.
Yeah,
You'd be a
exactly.
rare like.
And also
that's
you
true,
neurotech.
that's true.
Like every single person around them, you can use as like an informant. Like if they agree, of course, but like if the government can approach them and be like, hey, can you be our informant? And all of your kind of visuals go to us. So you don't need security cams, you don't need anything like that. Yeah, you got neurotech. You don't need that many resources.
I don't think I would want to be around a person that's 99% likely to murder. I don't think most people would. This seems like a Rishi, if your mom was 99% likely to murder you, would you be okay monitoring her?
I see what you mean. So then I guess what you do is you inform everyone around them that they're 99% likely to murder, and everyone vacates, like, no one wants to be around them, so then they just don't murder anyone because there's no one to murder.
But they can just go outside and go kill the mailman.
But as soon as they go outside, everyone outside gets like, notified that they're
Wouldn't it
99%.
be easier to put them in a prison?
easier to just lock them up.
Wait,
like
You can't. They haven't murdered anyone. They have not murdered anyone.
No,
You
but
can't
we
do
looked
that.
at them. We scanned their brain. They're not like a good person. Like,
See, but then you get into a slippery slope of like intention. Like if a baby is born and you scan their brain and it shows that they're a psychopath, like that doesn't mean they're going to do something bad, but they have a higher probability of it,
no
right?
baby's gonna be born as a
No,
psychopath.
babies are born as psychopaths.
What?
One of our friends,
Yeah.
actually, Kyle, I won't say his name right now, but he was a cocaine baby.
Yeah, like
Okay.
psychopathy is a genetic thing. Like it's a certain
That's
it's
true.
a certain
That's
thing
true.
in your brain that creates psychopathy.
That's my sister.
Okay. Should we get rid of them like as they're born then?
No,
I think
psychopaths can do
genetically
great things.
engineered.
No, okay, but
like
but,
that's
but we're not okay.
We
So
can-
psychopathy isn't necessarily bad, but I'm just talking about like if we have an AI that could tell 100% certainty or
Oh,
or
it would be
near that.
100%.
you
or,
can't tell
like-
100%.
Like
Not
it's a
without
really
every
good AI
information.
though, and it can like pretty accurately evaluate if a person is going to benefit universalist values or harm them.
But
Like-
what neurologically are we measuring that can tell that? Like, what?
It's a really good
That's
AI.
hard.
It's just it's like
no, but okay. What can we measure that would predict that someone is going to seek harm? Like, you can measure, find patterns that they are a sociopath, but sociopaths aren't inherently bad. Is there anything
Okay.
in our
Yeah.
brain that you can identify that this person will actually go murder another?
no, I'm not capable of. I don't know that.
Well, no,
But
I'm
I feel
asking
like an
Richie.
AI would.
Richie.
Oh, you're asking me
Yeah.
if there's something that'll tell if they'll murder another person? There's part of your brain that deals with identifying separation between animals and humans, like dehumanizing basically. And they've been able to kind of link dehumanization to murderous tendencies, where like genocide and stuff like that are made possible because those people in those groups are dehumanized. And it's the same way with like when I go and murder someone, it's a lot easier for me to do that if I don't view them as human or I view them as like not as human as me. And so if you can track that, and I think it is just a couple neurons in your brain that links that pattern. If you can track that, you can track their likelihood of murder.
Do you know what neurons or what part of the brain?
Not it varies. It probably varies from person to person. There's a part of your brain called the ICP, which deals with like higher level abstract concepts. Probably somewhere.
Ah, okay. Is that the same? You talked about purpose like 4 meetings ago, and there's a part
Yeah.
of your brain that deals with purpose. Isn't that not ICP?
I don't think it is actually. I kind of one of the things I've been thinking about recently is people who receive a lot more serotonin and people who receive a lot less. And what I've noticed is that people who are driven receive a lot less serotonin. And so their main sort of reward function is dopamine. And people get dopamine because of they think they're doing the right thing. Like dopamine is a lot more versatile than serotonin. Serotonin you get when you know have sex, you eat food, you sleep, you do all these like biological activities that like contribute to your survival. Dopamine is a lot more abstract. Like if you think you're doing the right thing, then you will get dopamine.
Right. Yeah.
And so the question is, how do we form what the right thing is? And there's a part of your brain, I'm not sure exactly what part of your brain, but there's a part of your brain that forms like the right thing, your moral system of values. Probably somewhere in the default mode network. Not too sure exactly. Probably interactions between multiple parts of the brain, honestly. But that also is very closely tied to purpose. Because when you have purpose, you get values from that purpose. Those values tell you if you're doing the right thing, which gives you a bunch of dopamine.
When you're valuing if someone is more of a dopamine driven person or serotonin, are you just valuing that based on like how motivated they are?
You can see. I can tell nowadays. Like,
Is there any
who has a
other
lot more
measurement?
Not
What
compared
did
to
they
each
come
other,
from?
but there's like 2 categories where it's like serotonin driven, dopamine driven, and I can tell which category they're in.
All right. Let's list some people. Rishi, which one are you?
So we 3, all 5 of us who were in the meeting were dopamine driven. It's really hard to be a universalist and not be dopamine driven. Yeah.
It seems like most
There's-
successful people are dopamine driven. Just in
Yeah,
general.
most successful people are dopamine driven.
Is there any
They
successful
have low
people that
amounts of
aren't
serotonin. Huh?
dopamine driven?
What?
Are there any successful people that aren't dopamine driven by your definition of successful?
Probably like writers and stuff.
But why would a writer
Even those
wanna
are
keep
very
writing?
dopamine driven. Writers are very dopamine driven. Like
Yeah,
Ernest
yeah.
Hemingway was super depressed, and he only found happiness while writing. And that's one of the ways to test it actually. Do you find happiness or do you find a reward doing the actual activity or at the end? Because doing the actual activity is when you get dopamine. Dopamine is a motivational chemical. It gets released as you're doing something in hopes, in a vision, in aspiration of that end state. You don't have that end state yet. You're imagining it and you're working towards that. And that's when the dopamine is released. Serotonin is released usually after the fact. Like, I did something good, now I'm getting serotonin. And so, if your reward is based on actually doing the thing, you're gonna do a lot more. If your reward is based on sitting around after the fact, you're gonna scroll or you're gonna, take short serotonin hits,
Yeah. I just think it's so cool how dopamine rewiring works and how effective it is. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like most.
Sorry, give me a second. Like 5 minutes. I gotta do something really quick and come back.
We'll keep talking, Kyle.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
facing the camera.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Yeah, dopamine rewiring. More people should know about it and utilize it. I see so many people in my life that just accept the things that give them pleasure as giving them pleasure and don't try to see where it stems from or question like why it gives them pleasure as opposed to something else.
Mm-hmm.
Like on my trip I thought a lot about like good food. Like my family values good food a lot. Things that taste good. So they're eating like pizzas and pastas and they're and steaks and they're going for like they see certain foods as tasting better than other foods.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Don't know. It has more flavors. It has more recognition or people like it more, so they like it more.
Mm.
And in general, people's ideas of food are built by society. Like certain foods are generally viewed as more tasty than others. Like ice cream it tastes better than broccoli. Everyone knows that.
No, for me it doesn't.
For me, it doesn't either. But people don't recognize that you can change what
No,
literally tastes good.
No,
to
like
you.
for my entire life, like most sweet foods have not tasted good to me.
Okay, that might just be like a you thing.
No, it's true. Like I don't think it's just a you thing.
Okay, but for most people, like they just accept that fast food tastes better than healthy food. Like I would say in general, they just view it as that. And it's viewed as eating healthy food. It's like you're sacrificing taste or you're sacrificing like pleasure in order to be healthier. When in reality, any food can taste good. Like the chemicals can change, your brain can change, and it can make these healthy foods taste good. Literally taste better than like fast food. Just by changing your values and like changing what you think about the food that you're eating. Like I've noticed in my life certain things that used to bring me pleasure, like smoking weed or eating junk food or watching brainless television. All these things that I thought were like, these are just the things that bring me pleasure. I want to do more of this. I know it's bad for me, but I want to do more of this. They literally don't give me like as much pleasure anymore.
That makes
Like
sense.
I would smoke weed now, and it just wouldn't be as fun because I wouldn't be valuing it. I would be like questioning it more.
Yeah.
It's just so cool how much you can rewire your brain, and how effective it is.
Yeah, it is really cool. With going back to like junk food, I must have rewired it when I was so little thinking it was bad and like turning against it, that just like stayed with me and became part of my being. Now I don't even like remember it. I'm not sure why.
Why do you think you never liked it?
I can't. If you put a bowl of ice cream in front of me, I do not find it desirable. I'm not trying to say that like logically. Like Rishi's dad gave me ice cream. It wasn't something that was like enjoyable to eat. It was
Yeah.
like a kid getting fed like carrots that doesn't like carrots.
Yeah.
But it just eats it. I didn't. I can't like. I have a hard time imagining like a lot of junk food as like pleasurable. Like I can imagine sex as pleasurable. I can imagine weed as pleasurable if I try. I can imagine alcohol, but junk food is very difficult for me.
Really?
Yes.
It tastes so good.
Like no, this is why, but I don't understand. I can't. It's hard. Like
Has it always been like that? Like your whole life?
I mean, off and on for my whole life, but I think ever since I was. It's hard to tell when I was really small. I assumed at some point in my childhood, for some reason, I deemed junk food as bad, and that's when it really began, and it's just so ingrained in me. Just like weed with you now versus like weed in like 20 years from now. It'll be much more ingrained in you.
What will be more ingrained in?
How you feel about weed?
Oh yeah.
Oh wait, Kanal's calling me. Just keep talking.
Yeah, so there's this really cool painting over here in Max's house. That's me for real. It's a ape, perhaps a stoned ape, listening to music, and it's very artistic. The ape's got like this expression going on. I think it's really cool because it's relatable.
Yeah.
It's pretty. It's inspiring with its colors and its it feels artsy, you know, and I don't know. I just love music, so yeah.
Oh wait, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think was the earliest crime committed?
Earliest crime.
Like human crime.
Okay, so what was the first law created?
I guess like, do you think it's not murder?
Okay. In order for a crime to be committed, it has to go against some sort of law. What defines a law? Like, does it have to be written? Does it have to apply to a society? Or can I just say, like, I don't want you to murder me, and then they murder me? Did they break a law by violating my desires? Like, where's the boundary?
It has to have some type of system. Otherwise, it has to have a system. Because you're not breaking, you have to be breaking a law that exists. It has to be a collectively, it's not collectively agreed on. An established moral system, I guess.
Okay, the first society was in Mesopotamia. They probably, I think they also created the first written law.
How about like religious tribes when there's things that are like sacrilegious? That seems like a form of a law, right?
Yeah, like God's word is often considered like a law.
Okay, let's just say this moral system is a spectrum because that's what it really is. We can start at the very, very
Okay,
beginning.
why are we asking this? Like the first law ever broken is
No.
so...
Okay, well, let's just look at a spectrum. The first law ever broken is probably like, ooh.
Oh wait, Kunal's calling me. Okay, you just talk at the camera real quick.
Okay. The first law ever broken probably went back to apes. It has to be some form of trust, some form of agreement. So at what point can they have an agreement? They had tribes. They don't need language to have an agreement. I mean, they don't need spoken language to have an agreement. It was probably some form of like hunt, kill, breed.
Okay, wait, why don't you come here before you get drunk then?
Yeah, the hunt breed. So what was it? Yeah, so I'm out hunting. I'm gonna get a deer,
I see it.
and we're both gonna share the deer. It was probably killing someone for food that you're not supposed to kill. Yeah, I would say killing someone that you're not supposed to kill. Like you have very early on. I can't think of anything else because if we look at law as a very flimsy word at the very end of the spectrum, it has to have some form of agreed upon statements. And I feel like the most basic agreed upon statement that two entities can have is not kill. Or not steal. Which one's more simple?
There's way simpler. There's just
Wait,
like
what's the simplest
just,
type
like-
of agreement that two entities from the human race can have that they can break?
okay. A lot of people would say, Eve eating the apple would be the first law ever broken.
Okay, but if we go religious, it's actually Cain and Abel.
What?
I believe they're Adam and Eve's. Ooh, they're someone's kids. They're some of the first kids, and
Wait, no, but Eve was like the first
Oh,
person
yeah,
that actually
yeah.
defied a rule.
I asked ChatGPT what was the first law ever broken. And it said, Cain and Abel, and I saw a YouTube thing that said the first law ever broken was Cain and Abel.
Cain and Abel.
I don't know why, but you have a good point about Adam and Eve. I don't know. Cain
they
killed
define
Abel.
laws differently. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it goes back to what you define a law. Okay, but not the Bible. What's the first type of trust of two entities that can be broken?
Okay, let's go back. When did the first two entities start to exist?
Like
Okay, but they can't be like single cell entities.
because you need some
What?
form of communication to another entity.
Yeah.
Some form of agreed upon agreement.
Yeah. What are the first two entities that have had communication in some way?
Like a fish. Like two fish. Can
Like-
do fish work together? Or they
Yes,
like
they have like swarms and stuff.
Okay, so I would assume two like very small fish.
Very primordial small fish. Yeah, and one of them says,
Oh, they can't
signal.
swim.
No, they say like a chemical towards the other one, and it's like mate with me, and the other one like runs away.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, we can break this down more. Like that's probably the most simple actually, because if you bring, I think food is more complex stealing than like that. Okay, so then we could go up more. Let's go to religious now. So sacrilegious.
Okay.
So you have a tribe, and some form of sacrilegious law is broken. Right?
Yeah.
So you break some form of. Okay, so it's getting a little bit bigger. It just keeps getting more and more established. Do you think as laws get more established, it's a bigger thing to break them?
A bigger thing to break them.
If it's a more fundamental law, it seems like a more criminal act. Because back then, like the two fish that disagreed with breeding, that's not very fundamental. They didn't write things down. There wasn't like a lot of preparation. There wasn't a lot of choices involved to create that agreed upon law.
Yeah, like now we have systems that have been like in place for a long time, and have shown to work, at least pretty well for society. So it's more of a big deal to break a law in today's society. Yeah.
What would you think would be the most... What's the current biggest law that you could break?
Current biggest law.
Like exploding the earth?
Like yeah.
Is that a law?
Nuking the earth is pretty illegal.
And nuking the earth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be good. Hey, if you were president, wait, you can just press the big red button, can't you? Or am I wrong?
No, I'm not sure if media's has just like messed with our minds. But I have the agreed upon
Wait.
something that you can just press a button.
I thought, is there like a lock that the president doesn't have access to? Wait, Rishi, do you know? Does the president literally have the capability to just like press a big red button and explode the world?
I think so, but they have to like basically what the button does is it tells like two commanders to like turn two keys at the same time, which then fires a nuke. And the commanders could just decide not to, though it's rare because they could lose their jobs. And there's a famous case of that in like Russia, in the Soviet Union. Like they got like a mis, they got like a false signal to fire a nuke, and this one guy just said no. And I
Oh
think it's
yeah,
the
yeah,
same with
yeah.
this. So it's like, what was that?
That literally like saved the world, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one dude.
That's crazy.
Dude, that was like the peak of the Cold War, and we could have literally all just fucking died.
Do you think with the evolution of smart cars, when we're at a point where most people have electric cars, but not fully automated, you still have the option to drive on the road. You can still drive. Do you think it would be in our best interest of automatically giving tickets? If you go over the speed limit, you just get a notification on the phone like fine, $200. Or if you drive in the wrong lane, or if you do any of these acts, you just get a notification to your phone.
Man, that would suck.
Or the people who are driving themselves.
Yeah, that choose to be drivers themselves.
That would suck.
It makes sense. Like, would there be any issues with that?
What if you're
Yeah,
pregnant?
it makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, but sometimes it's like people will need to speed. There's like a medical emergency.
Then you just accept the ticket. You're like, okay, I have to pay $500.
Okay, but then rich people will accept the ticket.
That's
'cause
how
it's
it
only,
already
like-
is.
Oh,
That's
that's
how it
true,
already
yeah,
is.
Yeah.
I think more people would more. Is there a bad thing if you get like 100 tickets? Or do you?
Yeah, I think you can go to jail at like a certain amount of tickets.
Yeah.
And it shows up on your record and stuff, so it's like you're not a first offense anymore.
Oh, so there would be a
It's more-
downside.
Well, like people
Yeah.
with medical emergencies, they won't feel that it is more morally right for them to pay the $200 fine because they didn't do anything
They
wrong.
could probably appeal, but I mean, it's the same way if you're speeding at like you're speeding to get to like your wife's in labor or something. You're speeding to the hospital, and a cop pulls you over. Sure, they're gonna let you go, but you're still doing something wrong that broke the law.
That's true. Yeah.
Like they still might give you a ticket.
Do you think that's gonna happen? Just
I
auto
think
tickets?
I don't think the government's gonna catch up to technology that well.
Yeah.
No. Not at all.
AI is gonna be the new government. I mean,
Well, no, neurotech is. It's literally gonna be neurotech.
yeah.
I think we're gonna have a lot more libertarian of a government with neurotech because it'll be a lot more like in.
Uh-huh.
It'll be like you're in a different plane of reality, and so government doesn't really apply there, you know.
Yeah, I feel like people there won't be like strict laws against anything really, but people will generally want to do the right thing because we all have the same values and
Yeah, I agree with that. I think neurotech. It's like Ready Player One, you know. Like there's no in Ready Player One, like the virtual world. There's no government, you know.
mhm.
I've established this question is arbitrary multiple times, but my mind always comes back to it. I want to see your guys' thoughts. In the hive minds, or just in normal life, if you're presented with a choice that the probabilities are identical, what do you choose? It seems. Should there be any form
And
of.
neither aligns with your goal.
Yeah, either lines. Does it really
50%.
matter? Or are you going to try to feel it? Is there any form.
Left.
You're going to choose left?
Yeah, I'm choosing left.
But is there any form
I'm
of-
choosing right because Cal chose left.
Yeah, that makes sense. We should like explore both options.
It's just such an arbitrary question, but I always come to it for some reason.
I think in a situation like that, I think it's most likely you would want to find out more about each option so you can make a more educated guess. I don't see a world
I
where
agree
like
with that.
anything is really 50-50.
Can anything truly
Yeah.
be 50-50?
50-50 probability itself is just a emergent property of the fact that we don't have enough information to compute the universe.
We just need more
Like
information.
we need to
Yeah.
simplify it. We need to dumb it down. We need to make it pockets of computational reducibility, and so we create probabilities. Like a six-sided dice, if you throw it, it's not actually 1/6, 1/6, 1/6 all the way around. You know, it's going to land on one side. And it's always going to land on one side if you're a determinist. it probably is going to just land on one side. So it's not 1/6 all around. It's just the fact that we can't calculate that makes it so.
Yeah. Like when you, yeah, that makes sense. When you throw the dice, it's just gonna land where it's gonna land. It has a
Yeah.
100% chance of landing on the side it's gonna land. It's just
Yeah.
we don't know that.
Yeah.
No, there's a chance that it doesn't have a 100% chance of where it's going to land.
Wait,
There is
that's
a chance
true.
of
That's
that,
true.
too.
There's a chance of that, but that's also a lack of information for us.
Yeah.
It's not a lack of
Not
the
fundamental
result
to the
of
universe.
the dice is fundamental, or
Yeah.
it's there's gonna be one result of the dice.
How do we know that?
We don't know that. That's my point. Is that we don't know that,
No,
but
there could be 10,000 results of the dice.
sure, yeah,
I mean, there could be infinite. Like it could land here or here or here or here or here or here. You know.
yeah.
That's true. That's true.
But if you're a determinist, it'll always only land in one place.
What does quantum mechanics say? That everything exists in superposition until it is observed?
Yeah, everything's everywhere all at once.
Right, until it's
Like,
observed, right?
but we still don't know what observation really means. Like, we don't know what that means.
Yeah, yeah. Crazy stuff.
Perfect.
Great stuff.
Is there anything else we should talk about?
No, I don't think so. All right, I guess that's a wrap on it. I'll venture forth.
Venture
Venture
forth.